Uh,
Where I'm
I
at.
love it. I love it.
Can you
Guava
see?
juice. Guava juice.
I like guava
Yes.
juice too.
Yeah. What we can do, are doing, is to be receptive to what they are struggling to share. All right. Right there, Donna. I don't know what you're going to say, but only that sentence, that one word, receptive, in this context here, and the way it is capitalized and in the italics. That's a philosophy right there.
Right.
That's a philosophy right there. Because our receptivity is saying that, wait a second, I am not just going to be hearing what you say. I am, which is open. Most people say, oh, I'm open to what you say. Yeah, until you start talking nonsense. Right?
Right. Right.
How, well, you say, well, duh. How else can I do this? I can assume that what you are saying makes sense.
Right.
I can take it for granted. I'm receptive to the idea that it does make sense. I'm going to insist that it makes sense because that makes me even more receptive. It makes me receptive to seeing the sense that is there. Now, yes, when you listen to people and talking about their problems, whatever they're talking with, it makes sense to them.
Them. Right.
It may make sense in a bigger sense, but when we see how it makes sense to them, we get to understanding. Now, forget this listening and hearing stuff where it's all one way and I'm just absorbing. Oh, hell no. What did I get out of this? I got to see and understand and comprehend an alien psychology. I got to see how people cogitate, how they think, how they construct, how they put together things, how they are motivated, what's important to them, how their flow works, how bubble logic works, which is a distorted logic, but yet it's logical within the bubble. I see all of this, which is inordinately valuable to me. I get tremendous amounts of power out of being receptive. I get to know people, really, really know. Hearing the information that comes, that's not capital H hearing. We want to go beyond that, totally, totally beyond that, right? So we aren't just absorbing information. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. We're doing so much more. Anyway. So do you want me to read or you want to read? Either way.
Oh, I like when you read if you don't mind.
Ah, no, my pleasure. All right. What we can do. All right. So you stop me when you've got notes.
I have notes on each page, so when you're finished reading, I'll
Oh,
offer.
okay. We'll do it by page. Okay. Unless it's like, a note. You just stop me if you need to say. Okay. What we can do or doing is to be receptive to what they are struggling to share. We simply are creating an environment where it is okay to share and express awkwardly, messily, with lots of stumbling and repeats and other struggles of expression. This is one of the main values we are providing. We are providing the chance for them to let it out, to release what's a mess inside without interruption or being asked for clarity, expressions of confusion from us, etc. All right, before you share your notes, oh, look how these pretty these things are, I just, they didn't come this way. Bina added the color to this. All right, so here's the key point. Right in the slide, it's not mentioned here, and it's going to come in the nobility, but we are making space for our nobility to find exercise, to find expression, to be to be employed, right? How so, you say? Because we are creating an environment where we are saying it is okay to share and express awkwardly. We aren't just being tolerant of the person's awkwardness. We are just usually like completely okay with it, which means we tolerate a lot of stuff, but we do so in a very most profoundly positive environment, that environment of nobility, which says it's okay, and the person doesn't feel awkward even. Well, they are, but they don't feel bad, and feel like it's an imposition on you when they're awkward. They are okay with being awkward. That's nobility, because you're making a lot of space, there's a lot of patience, and also you're doing it in such a way that the person doesn't feel indebted to you in any way, shape, or form. Yeah.
Yes.
I feel with us, you and me specifically, Donna, and with Bina, you and Bina, you have gotten to the space where you can do this, and you do not no longer feel like you're imposing on us, that you are pressuring on us, that you're asking us for a favor when you pause to figure it out, when you say, I a second, I can do better. No, you don't. There's nothing. It's pure. It's free. We love it when you do that, and you've come to realize this. And this is because of our nobility in this sense, right? Relative to the normal. From my perspective, it's not wildly noble because I see the sensibility of it. But yet, in a regular common sense, it is an act of bonus goodness, really. So it's huge. It's huge. So anyway, just to see the layeredness of the stuff. It's hard for me to always express it in the program because there's a lot to it. That's why I like going through with it on Zoom because there is a lot to this, right? So this seems very simple on the surface, but man, it's not, right?
Easy, but simple. Simple, but not
Say
easy.
again.
It's simple,
Yeah, yeah. But it's also
not easy.
layered, and
Yeah.
there's more to it. There's more to it. That's what I like. This is very much Mourner's material here, which is why Sure, kind of battled with it a bit, because he's lazy to do the work. Sorry, Sure, but she's a little bit,
And so
so
my
people get a
notes
little bit
were,
impressed. So
what we are doing is providing space to share no matter how it comes out without asking for clarity for our own understanding. We simply let them let it out. By being receptive, we're creating a space where we both derive value.
yes, yes, yes. And also, when we are being receptive like this, sometimes we get dumped on when people vent, right? That's a
Right.
big act of largesse. That takes a lot of doing. And, and, I wonder if I have it in the program. Hmm. I guess somewhere it's in there. But this absolutely does require us to have equanimity of being,
Right.
right?
How many times did I
You
dump on you?
It's equanimity, right? But not really, Donna. You never dumped in that way. You shared stuff that's emotional, but dumping is when people put their pus on you. You never put pus on me. Not that I felt anyway. I never felt it, ever. No. Where people are actually transferring meanness, they're transferring nastiness. They feel it inside them and they don't know what to do with it and they put it onto you. That's what I mean by dumping, rather than venting. Um, but if we have equanimity, we take it and we don't take it in, but it comes and we dissipate it. We like the starships with the energy and the energy weapon is
Right.
fired. You see it kind of crinkles all around the ship and flows over it.
Right.
That we do, but that's a service. That's a service. But it's a
Right.
skill we have to develop because, man, you can get seriously messed up with that shit coming into you. It can get stuck in you.
Right.
You can take it on. So we have to develop this as a skill. But like I said, that receptivity, because you don't have an emotional fixation, it doesn't make you vulnerable to it because we stay within our space, right? And that is
Right.
absolutely critical. If you don't have that ability to truly make space, you actually become vulnerable because you focused on stuff and then you create that hole in your shield that's be vulnerable now to those frequencies. So this is a big deal. It's a very massive skill that we're talking about here. We're still on the hearing part. We're not on the making space session yet, right, Donna?
What do you mean the making space session?
Well, there's a session called making space, and then there's a one
Oh,
hearing the client. So I
no,
think
this
you're
is
still on the
enabling
hearing
the
one. Yeah,
client.
yeah. Well, it's listening to hear more. Module one, session two, listening to hear more. Right. So the next session is making space something, but this is listening to hear more. So this is about the hearing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very cool. Okay, next one. Next one. You had no more notes for that one, right?
Oh,
Okay. What we are doing with our hearing is opening the door to more. I like that. I have an actual door for it too. It's on the website. It's like the tagline for the website. We are making sure the other person feels heard. Important here. This is one of the most precious and valuable things we can do for them, making sure they feel heard. This is absolutely vital and critical. It's a most important step from which everything else flows. If the client or other person doesn't feel that they are being heard, nothing further will come, and they will either be frustrated, inhibited, intimidated, resentful, etc., or go elsewhere so they can be heard. It's most important they feel heard. They can be heard, but they need to feel heard. Right? There's a difference. So we need to ensure that they feel heard, and that is a precious skill. Never mind skill, that's a power. That's a power, Donna. Pretty much every single person I know in this world goes around and feels that they are not heard. It's a problem that bites at them, gnaws at them, grinds at them day in, day out. Right? Frustration, anger, annoyance, irritation, all of it come because people don't feel heard. They might be heard, but they don't feel heard. So we have to make sure they feel heard, not just are heard. It's a big difference. It's a power, though. It's a power. It's amazing. I remember people saying this about people like Bill Clinton, and and despite all his stuff, they always said, "Look, when he was there in the room and talked to him, you always felt like he was listening to you and you alone." They commented on it repeatedly. I just remember it with Bill Clinton, but I've heard it with many other charismatic politicians like Clinton. That have a moreness to them. Yes, he was a shit and a womanizer, but he made a lot of effort, and he was a sharp guy. He wasn't foolish, and he understood how to deal with people. So he's not a monkey, in other words. Yeah, yeah. But he knew how to make people feel heard. Very powerful skill. So Monas. All right, let's see what you have.
Um, When expressing themselves, they need to feel inside that they are heard through their body. Every part of the body needs to feel as if what was said was heard. It doesn't matter if the other agrees, quote unquote, or not. Just making the body feel aligned with the mind.
Wow, wow, fabulous, Donna. Fabulous. Yes. Yes. So what you articulated is a really powerful shift of perspective. To say, hey, I need to pay attention to their body also, not just their mind, both to their attitudes, their emotions, but to their physicality. Yeah. I watch people's body, right?
Very
I watch
carefully.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And especially when I also watch for the reverse. When I say something that really at the time I know it comes out, it's totally pertinent and relevant. And at that moment, it's like, fuck, whoa, ooh. And you see people putting it together in their minds. It's like, whoa, whoa. And you see the implications come in. And you see how their whole world is changing. And then you see how they start to unwind that. Now, this all happens in a few seconds, right? They
Right.
unwind it, they unpack it, and the implications start to settle down. And then you can see they start to accept it, put it together. Wow, 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 wow. And you see it filter down. It's like this little spiral. It kind of settles down and goes through into their body. Now, this is when you are sharing actual content, right? It's the flip side of this, the complete inverse of it. On our side, we need to absolutely make sure to make time and space for that stuff to settle. Because if it doesn't, the moment you go to the next point, if it hasn't finished settling, it's all cancelled. It's amazing because the brain says, "Oh well, there's a new thing that's important," and because it's unfinished, it never gets to be used because it's incomplete. So if we just wait those precious few extra seconds, they are so incredibly precious, till it's finished, and they will literally sit there, and they will look up and okay, we can go further now. It's done. It's in there. It's astonishing, but boy, when that stuff gets settled all the way in, it sticks and it stays. They are now changed. very, very powerful. So I really, really work hard at that. And in terms of Sue's facilitation, I had to, still maybe a bit of times, kind of work on her to pay attention when someone, me or Bina or even her, when we share stuff, right? To don't kill your own point, don't kill your own sublimeness because you're in a hurry to make the next one. Let it settle, let it settle, let it finish settling. That's the key. Has to finish. Then you move to the next point. So, okay, I'm using this and turning it upside down, like I was saying, right? This is not just about being receptive, it's also about communication. When we understand it, what it takes coming one way, we can use that knowledge and invert it to go the other way. So this is real power stuff here, truly. The communication is one of the most absurd powers that we possess, no?
Yeah. What came up when I read this was it's taking listening and hearing, and then you're watching for the body for
Mm,
clues into what's behind
yeah,
what you're listening and hearing. And then you're integrating your ability to see behind the words. And then the collaboration part is kind of like when you're talking about the manipulating, kind of because you are a
yeah,
little bit cueing
yeah,
based on what you're
yeah,
listening and hearing and watching their body. And if it doesn't integrate in their body and all you're doing is listening and hearing, you're sort
yeah,
of working at the head level still. Whereas
yeah,
if they're really
yeah.
feeling it in their body and integrating, you're asking key questions and you're helping them
Exactly.
move it from
Exactly.
their brain to their heart
Yeah.
and they're feeling
Exactly.
it in their body. That's a
Yeah.
skill.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And you're
that's
getting
when
it from
people
their
feel
spleen to go out. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Right. 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 Yeah. 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 All
That's
that
what
gall
feeling
and all
heard.
that crap. Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, this right there in this one slide only, or maybe these, couple, right until this point here now, we are talking about actually being a therapist without having any therapy training, right? Just knowing how to do this, we can affect real change in another. Just doing this,
Sometimes having the
right? Like you
therapist
said.
and the counselor background detracts from being able to do this. We have to undo all
Yeah,
that to do this.
exactly. Exactly. Or they could, if they learn to do this, it will enhance their practice inordinately, right? But they don't need that necessarily because the client is the best expert on themselves. Give them
Right.
space, they will know exactly what the hell to do.
You're just guiding
For the
them
most
with the
part,
right
there are
questions.
some times where people do get stuck, but then they coming to you as a consultant rather than a therapist, which is a different thing. They're asking for your advice and opinion. And any consultant, they have ways of giving their opinion in such a way that basically covers their ass. So, but that's a different deal. But for the most part, we are making space in the profoundest nobility that we have to withhold our advice that we can see so bloody clearly, but we withhold it, and we just create space for the individual, the other, to come to resolution by themselves. So we create space for them to practice the skills of problem solving for themselves by themselves. How freaking awesome is that? What a skill! What a skill! When we apply this to ourselves, yeah, remember the beginning of the program. It said the client is always us. So when we do apply this to others, we say, oh, wait a second, the client is always me. Not only am I and me inside myself, client and practitioner, and those two flip around, they're interchangeable, right? When one learns, it then learns from the other. They go back and forth, right? Tweedledee and Tweedledum. But when we are literally with some external other person and we start to really, really, really listen, and we start to say, oh, fuck, you know what? The client is me. we start to see how brains work, how psychologies work, and we see that yes, they are just an external version of a potential you, of a variation of you, of an exaggerated you, of an exact you. Like same, doesn't matter. We always learn from it. Always, 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 always. Every Zoom session, I feel added to. Like right now, you adding to me. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, yeah. I love what you say. I love what you say. Yeah,
When the space from experiences I've had, whether it's me or whether I'm in expression with someone else, when the space is there and there's a integration between the listening and hearing and the actual integration into the heart and the body, the energy behind the words portion of it, when there's an integration of all of that, that's when the downloads seem to happen, and just the right question comes to help
yes,
the other or to help myself
yes,
have
yes,
clarity,
yes,
not solve a
yes,
problem or not give them an answer. It just,
yes, yes,
that it's magical because it's not
yes,
me. It's not, me.
yes. It's
It's we.
catalytic. It's catalytic.
Right, right,
A catalyst, literally, right,
right,
is something that you add that causes change without changing itself, right?
right, right,
Yeah, yeah, it's catalytic. Now, the more we learn to do this for others, the more we can learn to do it for ourselves. So, really,
right,
what we are doing is we're learning how to positively trigger,
right.
right? Yeah.
Which is goes
How
back
cool
to
is
what
that?
you're talking about, where you're kind of positively manipulating. I mean, really, you
Yeah.
do you yeah.
Right. But
Thing is, it's very
exactly,
powerful, and that's where the way
yeah,
of impeccability has to be in place, because that's where
exactly,
you can have that skill, but if you're a
exactly,
BSM, you can
exactly,
utilize that skill in a different direction. And
exactly, exactly,
they
exactly,
master this,
exactly,
but they just choose
exactly,
to, yeah,
exactly, exactly. But we come into it, we don't have an agenda.
right,
What is our agenda? Our agenda is the agenda of the other,
right,
right?
and to be appropriate.
That's it. It's what they want to get out of it. What do they want? They want to learn and grow. They want to be more aware. They want to be sensible. They want to be sober. They want to not have problems. Cool. Hey, I'll help you with that. If you got a crappy agenda, you come to me and you want to learn to be a manipulator. I'm not going to help you with that. You want to learn how to lie. I'm not going to help you with that. But these are all positive agendas. So when we are focused on the end point, people want to real change. They want to learn to grow, to be more. Right? That's what they're after. So when we further that agenda, life is easy for us. I'm happy to manipulate you all you like to get what you want because it's what you want. Right? In this manipulation, I'm only really triggering that key point that opens the floodgates.
Right, that's all you're doing.
I'm not
That's what those
exactly. I'm not
questions
in
are.
exactly. I'm not injecting my personal opinions.
Right,
I don't think this is right for you. This is wrong. No, I'm providing tools. I'm opening the floodgates. I'm creating space. I'm moving energy, shifting energy. I'm appreciating you. I'm positively reinforcing. I'm emphasizing. Repeatedly am I emphasizing. So, man, I can do what I do with an absolutely clear conscience. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's very rewarding. The most rewarding of it all is because I learn. That's it. Not because you get results, but because I learn. Yeah, it's rewarding when you get results. I like it. But, if you don't, that's also okay by me. But I like it when people get results. But, man, I learn. I learn. I learn.
that's why
Yeah, I like when
when
people get results because I care for them, and they inevitably get results. So, okay. But, it's not the biggest of the thrills. The main is the learning. Sorry, go ahead, Donna.
I was just, yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. The main thing is the learning, and you're both learning, and you can do it by
Exactly.
yourself, and then you're learning. And it has nothing to do with any kind of agendas. And like, that's
Exactly.
why
Exactly.
I hesitate whenever there's like dialogue about, oh, so and so had just the right answer, or you can go to so and so for
Yeah,
solutions and things, because my perspective is just very
yeah,
different than
yeah,
that.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
And
don't
you'll
know.
see me very actively shoot down that if somebody says it about me.
Right, exactly. And I know that sometimes without without a certain degree of awareness, that may seem like overextended modesty or whatever, but it
Yeah,
has
yeah.
nothing to
It's
do
not.
with that. And it
No,
has
no.
nothing to do with
Right,
not
right.
you know, feeling confident about
Yeah.
yourself or your abilities, or it
No, it's
just
a strategic necessity.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Very cool. Very
And when
cool.
you have it, you don't even have to say that. You just, you know,
Correct, correct,
you kind of
correct.
have that.
People
You
know where
already
you're
know
at.
that.
Right,
Right.
right, 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 right. Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's
No, the
why that's the
interactivity
way
so
this
beautiful.
group was such a blessing, because
Yeah, yeah.
it's like, a group of people that know it already, and I don't.
That's very cool.
Right?
I felt a bit bad. It was a bit one sided with Joe and Erica today, but I knew the time was short, so I had a lot of information to get out. And yeah, I was dumping a little bit, but it was they enjoy it though because there's a lot to think about, and they do. They think about it. They come back about it. So I always follow up in the sessions like yesterday. I mean it's all Erica. Oh, she hasn't sent me the email yet. Uh, anyway, just my brain jumping to a by the by. An old professor looked her up for a reference, which was really interesting. So it's very cool. So working on appreciation. He shared a lot of things that are very similar, thinking it through to the end, and um, uh, the process was important, not the answer, stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Anyhow,
Nice.
I digress. I digress. Yeah, yeah. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Right.
Are you getting the audio or not?
Yeah.
Oh, you can go and if you click on the little pen over there, the edit pen, and then you won't get the audio.
Right. I forgot to do
Yeah,
that.
there you go. There you go.
And do I
Right.
do
No,
the
no, no, no,
I?
no, 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 no,
Oh, just
no.
leave it the
Stay
way it
here.
is. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That I is the review one. To watch it. I guess. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So
Hearing is
just
helping, and helping is hearing. Yeah, yeah.
um by just making space and allowing somebody to share without worry of judgment, reply, agreement, is the best gift you can ever give anyone.
Yeah,
And in
yeah.
the end, that is
Exactly.
helping for both, because it's
Exactly.
just being, and it's as simple as that.
That's what I wanted to say. So, we talk about just being all the time, and you said about pointlessness. Well, now your just being is not pointless. Your just being actually makes a difference. How
Right.
cool is that? We are changing the world literally just by being. How awesome is that? But our just being is not just a vacant thing when nothing's going on. We actually do a lot to just be, right?
Right.
Because we've already put this into our system. It's like that spaceship, it's traveling through, it's just doing its own thing. But it's a sophisticated system that actually does change the environment it travels through.
Right. And in the beginning, like, you can just be, and you know all of that. I'm not sure what the process was, that there was like the integration of that, where you actually understand that by just being, there's a whole lot more going on than just sitting there doing nothing. But in the beginning, I remember, because my mind operated in such a logical manner, black and white, I kept having resistance to just being. Just like earlier, just a minute ago, like a few minutes ago, my brain wants to switch still to this very concrete, right, at moments. And when it does, I get that pain in my head. and then I like shut down. It's almost like my programming shuts down. I literally can't think straight. I have a real challenge. I can, but I have a real challenge to push through that freeze mode because it knows, okay, wait, let me try again. So like the phrase just it just is, right? Or you are, in this case, hearing is helping and helping is hearing. You're just being, and in that just being, you really are assisting and helping, and there's all kinds of things going on, right? It's not just being. Okay.
Right.
So my logical mind wants it to still on occasion be black and white. So it would say, well, how do you get to the point of just being? And you don't have a formula for just being. It just is. It just, and so it's like one of those abstract things that my other side of my brain can love and hug and feel all warm and fuzzy, but then my logical side says, wait, everything has a process. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is exactly what you need to do to just be.
Yeah, but here's the other thing though. So you have to tell your logical mind that wants black and white. You say, what is it when black and white coexist? What do you get? Literally, what do you get when black and white coexist simultaneously? I'm not hearing you.
I can't hear you either. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, yeah, hang
Hello?
on.
Oh.
Hang on. I don't know why you're not hearing me. My headset is on. Did you mute me there by accident?
Oh, no. You just, when you walked away, you actually show as muted on my screen.
Oh,
You have the little microphone.
Well, on this one, I'm on the computer on the picture, and then a diamond is the phone, and I'm using the headset on the phone, right?
Oh, okay.
So I'm not muted there. So I don't know why you didn't hear me there. That was kind of weird, but
Please
but anyway,
repeat.
I don't know. What were we saying? Say again what you said, the last things?
You were talking about the logical mind, how it wants to have it process.
What do you get when literally black and white coexist simultaneously? What do you get?
I don't know.
Gray.
What? Oh, yeah.
Gray.
Yeah.
Gray.
Right.
So you have to say to your brain that so loves black and white to say, you know what, they're not mutually exclusive. They can coexist. And when they do, you get gray. So this is a reality that, and is there in the world, is there more gray than black and white?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. So we love black and white because it's supposedly simple, but gray is just as simple. So are colors. I don't know why we have this either or, must be. Why? Why can't it be both at the same time?
I don't have it nearly as much as I used to. When I do have it, it literally feels like I'm a computer and it shuts it down.
Right. But we need to up the programming to say, oh, wait a second, computer, there's additional option. There's gray. Plus there's colors. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna try that.
Yeah. It's amazing. It really is amazing. Sometimes we have to treat our brains as literal computers.
Right.
It's quite fascinating. Yeah. Give me one moment, Donna. I was going to take you off the headset. I have to take off my sweater. So I'm getting hot here. One moment.
I'll be right back as well.
All right. Very good. Yeah, it's just getting hot here. All right. So yeah, this is a key point, and to say that things can coexist simultaneously, opposites can coexist simultaneously, right? A simple thing is a magnet. It's got the North Pole and the South Pole, and they are attracted and repel, but they coexist in the same magnet. So things don't always work the way we've been taught. There's more, and it's exciting. So we need to say, "Oh, I need to get sophisticated and up my conception of how the world works," right? And to say, "Wow, it works in more magical ways. They aren't any more complicated. They just are." Right? That's it. The same way as you accepted black and white, you can accept gray. You can accept black and white coexisting simultaneously, which they almost always do. Look at light and shadow. The one creates the other. You can have no light and all shadow. You can have all light, no shadow. Either way is possible, right? Where'd you go? Where'd you go, Donna? Oh, you're just moving the thing. I'm not hearing you though if you're saying something.
You reading this?
Yeah. I just wasn't hearing you say something. So I was just making a big point there to say to our brains that, hey, the actual reality is that black and white do not exist one or the other exclusively. They mostly coexist. They combine all sorts of things. So it's very important to upgrade our definitions, our core definitions. It's seldom either this or that. Very seldom. All right. Tasks and exercises. Why and how exactly is hearing itself helping? Okay. I'm just going to go through them one at a time and then we'll get to what your response was. Or you read the questions and answer them same time. I can't hear you.
I put hearing creates space for expression, which equals clearing, which equals understanding, which equals expansion for both.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's very helpful. That's very helpful.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the start of a massive chain reaction of implication that changes the whole world, right?
Yeah.
Again, Star Trek comes to my assistance. When they did the terraforming, right? And then they shot the probe down, and you see the probe touch down, and there's that explosion, and then you see the ripple effects of how the terraforming starts, and the whole world transforms, right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's terraforming. Yeah, it's a ripple effect that changes everything. It's amazing. All right, next one.
There's a bunch more to this one.
I was hoping. Brilliant. Okay, I thought, that was quick condensation, but okay, cool. Yeah. Keep going, keep going.
Well, no, I mean there's more questions. Next
Yeah.
time you're in a
I thought,
conversation, you didn't read it.
yeah. No, I misunderstood what you meant more when you said this
Oh,
one. I thought you meant to the first question. Yeah, I'm looking at the questions. I see there's more.
oh,
Yeah.
oh. No, I meant to this
Yeah.
page, to this slide.
Right. Okay, keep going, keep going.
Next time you're in a conversation or interaction, pay attention to what you are constantly trying to do. From a more abstract overview perspective, look at what the motives are behind what you are trying to say.
And were you? What was the next conversation that you were in?
Well, I just did this tonight, so I didn't really have any. So I thought back to conversations.
Okay, we can go retroactively. Sure.
I feel like a lot of times what if it's not a download and I'm saying something, it's just to offer a perspective now, so much more than any type of I really don't I don't have I thoughts much anymore. Like I feel as though or my opinion, it doesn't really come into my thought process anymore. It's more of, well, let's look at it from this perspective, or have you ever considered that perspective, or something like a question that might open up more of a there's other possibility dialogues.
Right. Can you hear me?
I
I'm
can.
back here. Oh, okay. Fine.
Not very good, but I
Oh, um, I'll be back there in a second. I'm just too hot. I just need to shed some layers here. So, all right, there we go. All right, so let me ask you: is awareness enhancement a personal motive or agenda in the usual way?
ask me that again, please.
Is awareness enhancement a motivation or agenda in the usual way?
No. It is a
Oh,
motivation and agenda, but not necessarily in the usual way.
absolutely not in the usual way. Because there's nothing personal about it, really.
Right,
Yes, it is intensely personal, but at the same time, it isn't because it's a
right,
universal agenda.
right,
It is well, it's your lot. It's just what we do. It's just the path we're on. How can it be a personal agenda? I can't not do it, right?
right,
So it's not a personal choice. I'm just come programmed that way, as it were. Okay, program might not be the good word, but this is what we are all about. It's not something you can choose to not do. So therefore, you choosing to do it doesn't really make much difference. You're not just getting joy out of the process as opposed to, struggling against it. So when we look at like you, when you in part this question here, right, or this task, when you pay it, really answer it, you say, next time pay attention to what you are constantly trying to do. Enhance awareness, learn, grow. From a more abstract overview perspective, look at what the motives are behind what you're trying to say. The motives are clarity, understanding, discernment, awareness. Yes?
right.
There you
Yes.
go. Sorting, practicing, figuring out, thinking through to the end, expanding, exploring, appreciating. Are these all impeccable motives? Fuck yeah.
Yep. Trying to look clever, be clever. No. Are you trying to
no,
appear
no,
helpful because this makes you look like a good person or proves you are a good person? No, I
no,
couldn't.
exactly.
No. Are you
I
worried the
know. I'm
person may
saying.
come to a resolution without you? No. Any
Right.
kind of
That was an
resolution
interesting
that's,
one, by the way.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say anytime there's resolution, all are involved. I mean, there's benefit and
Exactly.
value to everyone.
Exactly. Exactly. But that one, for some, that was like, crap. They were worried that the client would come to a resolution without them. I not necessarily here with us, but I've seen this plenty. I've seen this plenty. I get very worried that the person's going to kind of figure it out and then they won't get credit for
Oh, wow.
it. Yeah. Yeah. I mention it because I want you to appreciate how pure you are when it comes to an absence of crapola in your toolbox of agendas. You don't have shit in there. You've only got pure agenda, pure motives, good stuff. You don't have nonsense like this. You can't even imagine it. So just be aware.
Are you concerned you may forget what you want to say? And if you do forget, what difference would it make, if any? We talked about that. The only concern I have about when I forget is the download. And that's only because I know it's coming from a different source and it
Yeah,
could provide value to the group. And
right,
so, we came up with some ideas on what to do
right.
about that. But other than
Yeah.
that, no, it doesn't make any difference.
The more you practice hearing, the more you're also going to develop the ability to remember what comes up inside you. Download or not, for the most part, I'm downloading, but I've learned to be able to put those downloads on hold and remember them and bring them back up later. It takes concentration, it does take effort, but it can be done. Yeah, it's a skill to learn.
Yeah, you inspire me because I know when your downloads happen and I can see differences in your expression and I can feel it and like you can hold that and I'm like, man, I need to learn how to do that.
And
One
you
moment,
will.
please. I'm gonna feed Riley.
Go,
Come
go,
here, Riley.
go.
Buddy. Yeah. Come eat. Good boy. Go eat. Good boy. Good come. Okay.
I had a big surge of love for Riley just as he said, I'm going to go feed him. I went to get guava juice. A big feeling of this love for him. So I don't know. It just happens. All right, keep going, keep going.
It's so nice because I used to have such like huge feelings of love. I would just like pour out tears because I didn't know what to do with it because I didn't have people around. Oh, and so now I was saying to Riley the other day, I get to pour all this into you instead of being by myself and having tears that I didn't know what to do with. People thought I was sad, and
a
it
love
was
receptacle. That's what Riley is. Riley's a love receptacle.
right. Oh,
I hear
funny.
you. I'm the same way. No. Also, I pour a lot of love into you and Bina.
If you are concerned about forgetting what you want to say, forgetting key points which are actually needed, practice making notes. Yeah, keywords. I do that a lot when I'm listening, especially in our group, like with Erica Jane or Kay, or not necessarily Kay, but Sue or Cher or different, especially in the beginning, I would jot stuff. It's interesting because when certain people talk, I get downloads more than when other people do. I noticed that too. It's interesting.
Kay has shifted very much. In the beginning, I got very little, but now I get a tremendous amount. Big shifts, big shifts. Very cool. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Just a word or two to jog your memory later. This is key. Pay particular attention to associating the keyword with the rest of your thought as you note it down, or as you attach it to a finger, right? Make sure you have that keyword. So this is, I don't know, bollocks 1. This is triviality 2. This is idiocy 3. Those keywords, because the keyword needs to represent the subject. And it needs to, this is again a skill that you can develop. The keyword isn't just the topic, it is what, if you were to forget the rest, what you can then, this is a seed word rather than a keyword. If you forget the rest, will you be able to construct the rest from this word or key phrase? That's the trick, is to pull something that is this fractal conception, that if you were to watch it with a bit of attention, the rest is going to flow automatically. That's the skill, that you can reconstruct it on demand. It just takes some practice, but it's very
Dave
cool.
Timmons used to make me do this, and he used to make me do it when I gave speeches a lot of time or presentations to groups. Keyword memories, and like I always wanted to have notes and things, and he's like, okay, we're gonna get it so you don't have to, and you're gonna use associative words. You're not even gonna necessarily write the word that, I was just training the brain. And you develop it.
Oh yeah. Why is it called a keyword?
Because it's the key to rewiring the brain? No.
It's a key that opens the door to more.
Okay. Yeah, that too.
Right? Same thing. But again, that fractal conception, I like to think of them as seed words, so that you can say, oh, if I did forget the rest, I can reconstruct it from this word or this phrase alone.
Right.
Because it's a conception. It's a conception that you need to remember, not the word. The brain
that's what I'm just... That's what I'm saying that he used to make me do, because a lot of people would be like, okay, I'm going to write out the first 3 sentences that I'll say in my presentation. And he was like, no. You're going to come up with a word that represents the concept. It's not going to be the word you're going to say. It's not going to be, I'm like, huh? In the beginning, it's really hard.
Think of it this way, Donna. take those three paragraphs or three sentences and say, if I were to put that into a pyramid, and then I come with a capstone on the pyramid, right? That represents all of that inside there. What is that capstone?
Right.
So that when you recall the capstone, the rest of the pyramid comes along with it automatically. Or it's like you pop in the top of the bottle and the genies come out. That's the
Mm.
key. It must represent it. So you take all that and you summarize it into those keywords, those fractal conceptions. You not summarize, but condense. You pack it like a cabinet file. You pack it in there. It's all tightly packed, and then you just have to give that little that key conception a bit of attention, and it all starts to unfold and unpack itself. Right? That's the magic. It unpacks itself. It's like one thing leads to another. Duh. So yeah. So
I
just
think what
reverse the
happened,
process.
right? I think what happened was I was blessed to have mentors that were very aware
Wow,
when none of this was ever talked about. I'm just
wow,
blessed to have them in my life. And I really started to develop moreness and awareness
wow,
in ways that I didn't have words for, and maybe
wow,
they didn't either. And then
wow,
it seemed as though I made a choice to have children. Not that I would ever not do
yeah,
everything,
yeah.
about
But it
having kids,
shifted
but
things.
that's,
Yeah,
yeah, it shifted everything. And then it became very worldly, and those skills then were kind of placed on the shelf. And
yeah,
then they
yeah.
kind of, when Paige left 5 years ago, well, they always were kind of there whispering, like, you don't have to put us aside just because you're busy with kids and marriage and all that conventional stuff. We
Right.
still can be dusted off. And they would like sort of nag at you. We're here. Keep
Yeah,
using us, keep using us.
yeah, yeah.
And then when Paige left, I made a choice to listen to them and be like, yeah, time to dust them off. And so that's why sometimes it really kind of,
Fabulous.
when they're already there,
Yeah,
you're just sort of, and like they were being enhanced and developed very specifically by certain people. So
yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like it's helped in making it go, I don't know, maybe a little faster, or it feels more familiar.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And the brain's already trained. Yeah, yeah. It's just practice now. That's all. No practice. Um, the next part is important here. All right, pay particular attention to associating the keyword with the rest of your thought as you note it down. As a conception, I should have that in there anyway. Practice this in any conversation and also while watching TV or a movie. Practice associating the thought with a word or even with something like bending a finger or to remember each point. But the key is to practice conceptualizing.
Right.
To
You
practice
should add
taking a
that
bulk of
in.
information, I should, yeah. Um, you do this. I see you do it when you're listening to others. And then you come and then you just kind of have it right there in one sentence, one word, one phrase. That's it. You have the skill. You just need to apply it to your own thoughts.
Working on that. It's a lot easier doing it on somebody else's.
Yeah, well, it is. Yeah. Well, the key to your own thoughts is the power pause. To make that shift from one brain to the other. That's the key.
I literally can see when aware people are doing it around me.
Yeah. Yeah.
There-
It
There's
is
there's
made.
a
Yeah.
there's a body. They will each have an individual specific to them body, something within their body, like within their
Mm.
eyes or the tilt of their head. But
Uh-huh.
there will be something where they do their power pause, and
Right.
they do the same thing each and every time. And then they're shifting to
Mm,
feeling
mm,
what that moment is about, not
right.
thinking, but
Right.
what it feels like.
Right.
You can
And
see
then
it.
right. And the key to this is it's
Deliberate.
deliberate.
Right.
That's the key. I have to make a deliberate effort. Dang it. It doesn't just happen automatically. I can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to remember it." Nah, has to be that deliberate effort to make that association with what I want to remember. I have to transfer it into the other brain deliberately.
Right. Well, I'm going to practice that. Keep practicing.
Mm, mm.
Okay. Pay attention to how much difference it actually makes if you don't say what pops up in you, right? Notice how it either comes back or something else comes, which is even more relevant and pertinent.
Yeah.
For some reason, when the downloads happen, I need to, I guess, trust more that they'll come
Mm,
back because I have
yeah.
this sense of urgency that comes with some of them.
I do too. Yeah, I do
Do
too.
you?
I do too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
oh, absolutely. I
excitement.
interrupt
Like
you and Bean all the time. Yeah.
it's
But really,
excitement
it's,
and
yeah, I know.
enthusiasm and I don't know, like this fiery, I got to get this out because it matters to all of us. There's something here. I don't even know
Right,
who it's
right,
for.
right. And seriously, it's like, dude, can this wait 3 seconds? Yeah, it can. Okay. For whatever reason we caught on this, it's got to be said as quickly as possible. That's the habit to break. It's a false belief that messes up everything. It doesn't have to be said immediately. It can wait 3 seconds. Literally, it can wait 2 or 3 seconds. A minute, even. Not a
I'm
problem.
gonna work on that.
And once we get that shifted, that belief changed, then it all changes. Then I'm chill. It's like, oh, I've got something exciting to tell you. All right, I can wait. Don't worry. Keep going. It'll hold. And it does.
I just need to tell
Ah,
myself that. I just need to say that.
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. To say it deliberately. Yes.
Right.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. 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 Very cool. But most of all, pay attention to how little, if anything, you actually need to say. Yes, we want to say it, right? But that doesn't mean that we need to say it. Now, that doesn't mean that our wants are trivial or unnecessary or frivolous. No, they're not, right? So that excitement, my magic, yes, I want to share it. And it can make a difference. It is exciting, it is huge, but I don't need to do it. I want to. Big difference. And when I realize that, oh, I don't need to and I want to, that's when I can hold the time,
Yeah,
right? That's
I
when I
feel
can
like
say it
if it
later.
comes from a download, like that's my higher self, that there's something profound and I feel like I need to say it. Like it's super
Mm,
important that I can't forget it. Otherwise, the world's going
right.
to end or
But,
something.
but, but think of it this way, your download just puts that in so that you won't not get the communication, right?
That I
It's
won't
making
what?
sure that it gets through to you. It's part of the message, that flavor, because it ensures that you get it. See? Now, because you need to say it, the saying allows you to remember it because you're shifting it from the one brain to the other, right? You see why it has to be in there?
No, I missed that
Because,
point. I'm just,
all right, so the download, let's say you were sending stuff to somebody's subconscious, to their right brain, which is the creative brain. It's not the storage brain. It's not the processing brain. It's not the memory brain, right?
okay.
But that's the receptive brain. So you need to put in there, this needs to be expressed. Why? Because the expression transfers it from the one brain to the other. And when you say it out loud, you get to hear yourself. When you get to hear yourself, it goes into memory now. See? Or at least partially can. Sometimes we can say things and not listen to ourselves and we'll go into memory. That's why we want to practice hearing. Because this hearing does allow us to package it, to condense it, to put it, to conceptualize it, to arrange it, organize it, make sense of it, and otherwise put it into us in a lasting way. Because the right brain is like your RAM memory in your computer. The moment you do something else, it goes away. It gets overwritten. It gets overwritten. So the need has to be part of the message so that you do express it. But the key is to say, yes, you need to express it, but you don't need to express it right now. So keep the need, but lose the right now. See what I mean, Donna?
Yeah. Keep the need
Right,
because it
right,
is
right. It
okay,
does need to
and
be
it's just
expressed.
not. It's not right now.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
tell
Right,
myself it will come back, and then it will.
right. Right, especially when you have that mnemonic, because you've made a key association to it. So you're not setting it all aside. You're setting aside everything except the thread that you need to pull to unravel it all to come back. Right. So you always keep that association, that trigger, and that's the thing. So you just keep enough in mind to allow you to recall it. Yeah. Mm. The other thing is, Donna, when we have a download that's pending like that moment we take to make that conceptual association, to fractalize it and pack it into a fractal conception, that moment we take to remember the associating trigger, to remember that capstone, to make a note of that capstone, to associate it with a finger or whatever it is, those few moments we don't hear what's going on around us. So be aware of this, right? That you're going to go internal and you're going to be shut off from everything else and you're going to lose a part of the conversation. So if need be, you just say, hold on one sec. All right, keep going, right? That
But
may
you
be
can't do
necessary.
both at
Or
the same time.
well, you can, but a lot of times you can just let it go in the conversation. You can usually just kind of, do some retroactive extrapolation and figure it out backwards. And
Yeah.
most people say things that you can always figure out, or you just say, "Oh, can you repeat that?" There you go. Don't worry about it. I'm just saying though, be aware
Yeah.
that it requires quite a total shift in your concentration, and you will lose some info temporarily. Either ask for a pause, figure it out backwards, or just ask them to repeat if you cannot figure it out backwards. Yeah, yeah. But be aware. That's why sometimes we don't make the effort, because now we're paying attention, we're really listening, but something comes up in us. We don't want to stop listening because we don't want to be rude or lose the thing, but realize that you'll get it back. You'll pick up the thread. Don't worry about it. But you do need to have that little break sometimes. Yeah, sometimes it is possible to do the two together depending on the level of your energy. If you got high energy, you can do both together. If you're low energy, no.
Right. I
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
When you do, let when you this is just curious to me. I'm just being nosy. When you do
I was.
these programs, you have the ability to really see the other's level of awareness, correct?
Yeah,
Just
to
by
some degree. Yeah, yeah,
just by how they, do the takeaways and the repeat
yeah,
backs and the
yeah,
the
yeah,
exercises.
yeah,
Yes or
yeah,
no?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, very much so. I'm hearing them. I'm listening to them. I'm actively absorbing where they are. I'm looking beyond what they say. I'm looking to the implications. This is one of my skills. If I might even say it's a genius that I possess, because I practiced it to look at implications. So yes, I can extrapolate backwards from the implications, and I can discern much because of it. One of those being how much somebody is comprehending and understanding, and the more you practice that, the more it enables your ability to communicate and to supply
Right.
what's needed, what's necessary, fill in the gaps.
Right.
Now, let me just make this very clear. I don't just fill in the gaps, right? I
Right.
will elaborate on what you already understand.
Well, you generally do that first.
Exactly. Why? He said, but I already got it. I already understand it. Why are you adding stuff to what I already get? Because of what it does to your brain,
Right.
right? So you get the point, and I elaborate. What am I doing? I'm adding threads to the core node, and those threads tie it to stuff that's connected. And almost always, I will have some connectivity to my point, right? So I'm doing
Right.
that neurographic stuff. That's it, the
Right.
smoothing, the rounding, and the connecting. That's what I
Right.
do. So
Right.
I add emphasis by repeating the point. plus
That's all emphasis
uh,
does is the neuro. Yeah.
exactly, plus
Right.
perspective shifting,
Oh,
right? You watch kids, right, and you say something, and they're like, and then you say it again in a different way, and you say it again in a third way, and then the other kid says something, and they're like, and eventually they go through about a dozen O's, and eventually after every single possible perspective, suddenly, oh, I get it, right? You've seen this,
right.
yes?
Oh, yeah.
That's the power of the brain. It needs information, but it needs sufficient, and then at some point it can extrapolate the whole picture, right? But sometimes it's like it depends what the brain is trying to do. It's why I use that perspective shifting example of trying to understand the layout of a house by looking through windows, right?
Right.
If your intent is to, and you think the objective is to understand the layout of the house, every view through the window is not going to help you. You need sufficient. You don't need all of them, but you need sufficient to be able to calculate it. Now, sometimes this is what's going on in the brain. It all depends on the objective of the brain. If the brain's objective is, okay, I'm going to accumulate views of rooms. All right, cool. As a bonus, I get to also figure out the house plan. Well, all right. Then they stay with you, and they say, I get it. The lounge looks like this. The bedroom looks like this. The kitchen looks like that. I get it. I get it. Okay. Oh, and I see the plan. But the other one who's only focused on the plan doesn't get anything until sufficient perspectives is put in. Now, we don't always know where this is at for people. And when they say, oh, I understand,
Right.
they may or may not. So
Right.
I elaborate and add perspectives to just cover my ass.
Right.
Hey, Riley, what's going on, man?
I think he's got to go out. That's what that was.
Yeah. Actually,
He
that was
ate,
him
and then
saying.
every time he eats, he has to go out. He literally talks to me. You hear him?
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah. But I thought I heard him say that he will be needing to go out, but not quite right at that moment. And then it changed 2 minutes later, 2 seconds later, right?
really? Yeah.
Yeah,
Keep
yeah. He
telling.
thought it was, and then the next thing he starts barking, saying, "No, I changed my mind. I gotta go now."
I don't know. Right.
All right, you taking him out
But
now?
do you want to finish there, or do you want to just take a break? It'll take me about 10 minutes. We can pick up tomorrow or whatever you want to do.
If you want to come back and do more, then you come back and do more. I love this, Donna. I love this.
I'll be back in a little bit
to
then.
lose our momentum. I'm really enjoying this. It's fabulous. Okay. Okay. Grab quickly, Riley.
Right?
No, it's okay. You can't pause it.
What takes time is me putting on all my garb. I got to put my shoes on, layer
Yeah.
my coat,
Yeah,
my scarf, my hat.
Yeah. All right. Well, while you
gloves.
put all that on, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. From our side, capital H hearing is an antidote to our ego. We have to take it completely out of the picture. We have to set aside all our ideas about what usefulness we have, what we think we know and believe that might be useful. We
Right.
are hearing to understand only, nothing else. We are not hearing to provide a solution or give advice or solve the problem. No. No, this is absolutely the chief habit we have to break. Now, you don't have to break this habit, but like for Sue, oh my God, this was a big deal for Sue. I mean, she would rehearse and practice and figure out what solution she was going to give because she believed, and with a fair amount of
That was her
legitimacy.
role. Right.
That was her role. This was expected of her. This is her doing a good job. And she was very diligent on this. And so she had to really uncondition herself from this. It was a really big deal. And man, I admire Sue. I really do in this, how she is quite willing to say, I've been doing it wrong for 20 years. And that's it. She just changed it.
Right. That's putting
it's
aside your ego. I think I'm moving towards, I don't even have to necessarily understand. And when I get to that, then that's where I'm battling. That's where I'm battling then why, what are you exactly? Because I'm not quite integrated with that, but I feel like I don't even have to necessarily understand.
Yes. All right. So Are you ready to go yet?
Hold that thought. I gotta go.
Okay. Okay. When you come
Hold
back, I want
right
to talk
there.
about programming languages.
All right.
All right.
Hang on, right. I can't find my hat. Do you know where my hat is? Where's my hat, right? Huh? Where is it? What did I do with it? Can't go out without my hat.
I think people have dogs so that they just have an excuse to talk to themselves.
I talk to myself constantly, with or without
Right,
it.
but now I hear you talking to Riley. Really, you're talking to yourself. But now nobody thinks you're crazy because you're talking to the dog. I don't know what the difference is, but right?
I was even feeling like today when I was walking the dog, like this weekend, I was going to make a concerted effort to just sort of be in silence since I'm detoxing from, but I'm not, obviously, from all my electronics. I was like, maybe I'll try to do a weekend of silence. Oh my word, I lasted like 5 minutes. Like, no, I can't do it. It's not happening.
I love it. I love it. All right. All right. I'll see you soon. I'll see you soon. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Cute it
Yeah.
to not be, really.
Right. Right. Now, look at this in a little bit more context here, which is why I love this so much. We are getting to where hearing and making space is our default, right? Because making space is just another form of hearing. It's part of the same continuum. So hearing is our default. What exactly are we hearing and making space for? Not just what other people say, right? That's one thing. What are we ourselves say, yes, but also what circumstances say,
Right.
right? So we hear, in other words, we are hearing the world, attunement, we are hearing appropriateness. So when we're in hearing mode, we hear when it's appropriate for us to come with a personal agenda, or where it's appropriate for us to share something, to figure something out, to get excited, because the situation will cue us. And because we're receptive, it now says, hey, here's the time where you need to come with your stuff. All right, cool. Psst, out it comes. So this is why we get excited, because when those come, it's like, all right, gravy time. But this is really cool. Plus, we get that ability to hear the world. And that's really powerful. You know, it's a different speed the world has too. So part of our capital H hearing is to slow down. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not hearing you. But that's the key
Oh,
point. That's
it is.
slowing down.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Big point.
All
Big point.
right. I
Yeah. You
think
can always tell, by the way, Donna, if
yeah.
you look at your box, if you don't see the yellow line, I'm not hearing you around your name, your box.
Oh. Yeah, you
See?
okay. Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. If you
That's
don't see
weird.
it, I can't hear you. Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
yeah, I don't see it at all. Riley, get down. I don't
Oh,
see it.
oh, it. Okay. You don't see around the boxes, there's the three windows, right? The
I
one that
do.
I'm
And
in, the
I see it
diamond, and then you.
around a new you, but when I'm talking, I don't see anything around mine. There's never anything.
Oh.
There's never any yellow at all. Period. No matter if I'm like super
Ah.
close or far away or
Oh, I see it now. You see, when I start talking, I see mine. I wonder why you
right.
don't see yours.
No. I noticed that. Whoever's
Ah.
talking, the yellow goes around their box except mine.
There must be a setting for it then. I'll look into it and let you know what the setting is. Yeah,
Okay.
because that would be
All right.
helpful. That would be helpful. Yeah, yeah. So this hearing as a default, it changes everything, everything, everything changes. Yeah, it's very powerful. It's amazing. we get to be more appropriate as a result in everything. Yeah. Not hearing you.
I'm
Are you
not
going?
saying anything.
Oh,
I'm just
oh, oh.
processing. I think if I'm gonna stop here, my energy's
Yeah, yeah,
getting a little low and so
yeah. Me
is
too.
yours, I
Me
can
too.
tell. I could see it in your face. We've been going at it for somebody who was gonna
I
turn
know
off
it. I
electronics and be quiet. We've been going at it since like
know.
7:30 this morning.
Yeah, yeah, and I was going to sleep early too, supposed to, but this was
Oh
fun. This was
no.
fantastic. No,
I've
no,
kept
no.
you
I
up.
know. I no, 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 no. Please don't worry. I would not have said that because when I say go to sleep, it takes me 3, 4 hours to actually fall asleep. So now, though, I'm nice and sleepy and tired now. I'll just go right away.
Couple
So
minutes
right
and you'll
away.
be out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which
Uh,
I may even save some time and get extra sleep as a result. So I don't know what it is. You know, my brain is just so alive, so active. It just can, like, I listen to stories or music and it keeps me going. So where are we on page 22? You see, we added page numbers, right?
Yeah, I did. And actually that's so nice because I
Yeah,
can put a 22 in my notes and then I can put
exactly,
I stopped here.
exactly. It's they never had it. It's a new feature. If you
Ah,
go here under, if you click on settings, on the left there, on the little gear cog. Yeah, that one. And then, yeah, click on it. Yeah, right. Just scroll down a little bit. You see, it says slide numbers.
oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah. So I activated on all the modules. So it's very cool. Yeah, it's very cool. Very cool. I love it. I love it. I love it. So,
I
yeah.
noticed that. I made it, and I even included it in my notes tonight.
Perfect. Perfect. Brilliant. All right, Donna. See you tomorrow.
Yes.
I'm sorry Bina missed it, but that's okay. It's all good. You know, it's all good. It's all good.
Tomorrow at 7, we'll pick back up or whenever. If you
Yeah,
sleep
yeah,
in, you
yeah.
sleep in.
No, no, no. We awake at, like, 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, somewhere around there. So we're always way awake at that time. I
Mm,
don't know if I can sleep that late. So yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah,
All
yeah. It's a good
right.
habit because I get a lot done in those early hours. So it's very cool. It's very cool. Yeah, yeah. Brilliant, brilliant. All right, I love it, Donna. I love it. I love it. I love it. So see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. This was
Yes.
fantastic. This is why I've been so keen to do this, because as much as I love wave impeccability, I think I love this a lot more. I do, because I love the sophistication of it.
I think the way of
Wave
impeccability has to be done first, though. You sort of have to be
Oh,
ready.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
this is a pretty big
Oh,
awareness that's needed
oh,
for this.
exactly. This is part of Mona's project. It's not.
Yeah,
It's not. Yes, it could be standalone.
it
But
could.
if I were to do this, with somebody who is really looking to do it, and they want to, like I see on the group, you see it every now and then. Oh, I like helping people, but I don't know how, etc.
Right,
I can do that, and I did it with Shirt to some extent. I do it in a very different way. It's very,
right,
very purpose focused and so on. But it's a different way of doing it. But
right.
that, yeah, it's okay. I enjoy it, but not nearly as fun as what we're doing now, where it's a spiritual business. This spiritual business.
There's a
And
difference. See,
seriously,
if
what
you
did Buddha tell you? What did Buddha say? But practice capital H hearing. Okay, he didn't have the dictionary of power. But if you really now go back and look at his stuff, that's exactly what he's saying all the time.
message different way it's delivered, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Buddhists have a lot of stuff, but their language is off. It's archaic. It's not relevant and pertinent to our brains now. They're written for old brains that don't exist anymore. That's why we have trouble assimilating it. It's quite amazing.
Ah,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, I
Well,
saw that
later.
when I was reading it. Yeah, yeah. All right, latest Donna. I'll keep
I didn't
talking
mean to
otherwise.
interrupt you. You saw it when what?
No, 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 no. I saying I saw that when I was reading it at the time, that they had a lot of value, but the language was out of sync, and that's why I liked Don Juan, because his language is in sync, or at least it was then. Now it's also out of time already. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's what, uh, 60 years old now, you know. So yeah, and he came from a time before Carlos even. So you know, it's again, it was very potent then, but that's why dictionary of power is so important, and it's your dictionary of power. It becomes living and it updates and it stays in tune with the awareness now. It doesn't get out of style, out of date. It's very different, and it's abstract overview language, not specifics. It's important.
Right.
It's important. It's attuned to your brain. Very important. All right. Love you, Donna. See you tomorrow. Oh, what
All
a
right.
joy this is. What a joy. I'm going to sleep good now. So, sleep beautifully, Donna. That's been the theme of the day. So, sleep beautifully and dream
All
beautifully.
right. You too.
All right. Sleep beautifully. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.